I didn't mean for her to hear me. It had been an exhausting day at the Galactic Summit, with nobles from 100 worlds bickering over trade routes and treaties. I was just a lowly human aide, an interpreter for the human delegation, standing at the edge of the massive crystalline hall, translating a dozen languages through my earpiece. And then she entered, Princess Veilira of the Silurian Empire. I'd seen her before in Holos, of course. Everyone had. She was considered one of the most beautiful beings in the galaxy, a crown jewel of diplomacy. But Holos never did her justice. She was tall, graceful, her shimmering blue skin catching the hall's light like liquid sapphire. Silver markings traced her cheeks, delicate and intricate, glowing faintly with her heartbeat. Her eyes, stars above, those eyes, were a radiant violet, so bright they almost seemed to pierce through the soul. And when she smiled, the room went silent. She passed close by me, trailed by her guards in ceremonial armor, and I caught the faintest trace of her scent, like rain on new blossoms. My heart thudded in my chest. I glanced away quickly, hoping no one saw the heat rising to my cheeks. I'd spent weeks in her presence at these meetings, always in the background, always professional. But every moment near her only deepened the quiet ache I kept buried inside. Tonight, though, I let my guard slip. As the council recessed for the evening and delegates began to filter out, I lingered by one of the arched windows overlooking the starlit sprawl of the Capitol. She stood at the balcony across the hall, speaking softly with her advisor. I watched her laugh at something he said, and my chest tightened. Before I could stop myself, I whispered under my breath, I wish I could marry her. It was a foolish thought. She was a princess of one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy. I was just me, but then I heard it. A voice, soft and melodic, behind me. My answer is yes. I froze. Slowly, disbelievingly, I turned. She was standing there, right behind me, Princess Veilira. Her violet eyes locked onto mine, and there was no mistaking the amused curve of her lips. I'm sorry, Your Highness, I stammered, heat flooding my face. I didn't mean, you weren't supposed to. She tilted her head, silvery hair shifting like liquid light. You weren't supposed to what? Speak your heart. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. Her smile softened, and she stepped closer. Do you think I haven't noticed you human? My heart nearly stopped. And notice me? Yes, she said simply. You're always at the edge of the room, quiet, observing. You do not flatter me like the others. You do not seek my favor. And yet, her eyes sparkle with something unreadable. When you look at me, it is not like they do. It is as though you see me. I swallowed hard, because I do. For a heartbeat, neither of us moved. The hall around us was emptying, voices fading into the distance, leaving only the faint hum of the palace lights. Then she laughed softly, like chimes in a breeze, and said, Walk with me. I followed her through the empty corridors of the palace, past windows of colored crystal and gardens blooming under starlight. I couldn't believe this was happening. When we reached a secluded terrace overlooking the city, she turned to face me fully. Tell me, she said, what would you do if I said yes? Truly yes to your wish? My throat tightened. I'd treat you like the most precious thing in my life. I'd protect you with everything I am. I'd love you. Her eyes widened slightly, as though surprised by the simplicity of my answer. Then, slowly, she stepped closer until she stood just inches from me. No wealth? No power? No throne? I shook my head. Just you? Something shifted in her expression. Something raw, unguarded. Do you know what they call me in my court? She asked softly. The untouchable jewel. Desired by all, claimed by none. They parade suitors before me. Princes, admirals, magnates. But none have ever asked for me. Only what I can give them. I felt a pang in my chest. That's not what I want. I know, she whispered. That is why my answer is yes. And then she kissed me. It was gentle at first, a brush of her cool, soft lips against mine. But as I kissed her back, I felt the faint tremor in her hands as they rested on my shoulders, and something inside me shattered. The wall I'd built around my heart. When we finally parted, She rested her forehead against mine. "Tomorrow," she murmured, "I will tell my father I have chosen my bondmate." My breath caught. "Veolyra, are you sure? He'll never." Her violet eyes burned with quiet fire. "Let him try to deny me." The next day was chaos. Word spread like wildfire. Princess Veolyra had chosen a human, an aide, a nobody, as her future consort. The council chamber erupted in outrage. Nobles shouted. Emissaries protested, and her father, Emperor Illyrian himself, thundered with rage. But she never wavered. I stood at the center of that vast crystalline hall, heart hammering, as the Emperor loomed before us like a living storm. "This is beneath you," he roared. "You would throw away alliances for this? A weakling from a backwater world." Veolyra stepped forward, chin held high. "I choose him, father, not because of his world, but because of who he is. He loves me, not my title, not my throne. Me." Her words rang out like a blade's edge. Silence followed, heavy and electric. The Emperor's eyes bored into me, and I met them steadily, though my knees felt weak. Finally, he growled, "If you fail her, if you ever bring her harm, I will erase your entire species from the stars." I swallowed hard. "Understood, Your Majesty." And then he turned away. So be it. The chamber erupted again, but Veolyra's hand found mine, cool and strong, and she squeezed it. Later, when we were finally alone, I looked at her, still unable to believe any of this was real. "You really meant it," I whispered. She smiled radiant and fierce. "I meant every word." And as we stood there under the alien stars, her fingers entwined with mine, I realized something. For the first time in my life, I wasn't just wishing anymore. I was living the answer.